It's one thing to see a poll go down and see the line for Kamala go up and see Trump's support go down. It's another thing to actually hear from the voters as to why they're not supporting him. CNN just did this awesome interview with a handful of Pennsylvania voters, a state that is critical for the November election. And if I'm the Trump campaign, I would be very worried. Let's check it out.
Not a great time to be a Reagan Republican. Pacey supported Nikki Haley, but won't vote for Donald Trump, ever. And he sees Kamala Harris as more liberal than he would like.
I have doubts about her. She's going to be tied to the Biden record regardless of what she says or what she does.
Does it impact your calculation for what you do?
No, it doesn't change anything at all. I'm still not going to vote for Trump regardless. So I'm not excited about voting for Kamala Harris, but it's better than the alternative.
That is a crazy statement you just heard. That is someone who is a redder than red Republican, traditional Republican, who does not support liberal ideals, but knows that Donald Trump being in office is detrimental to our country. And he is supporting Kamala Harris. How many more people do you think there are like that in Pennsylvania? Nikki Haley voters, moderate Republicans who gave Trump a shot in 2016 and said, never again. I bet you there are tens of thousands. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing the polls change the way we are. Let's keep going.
Vote counts, though, enthusiastic or not. Big margins in the suburbs that surround Philadelphia are critical for Democrats. Bucks is more blue-collar and, of late, the most competitive of the collar counties.
If I were here the day after the debate and I asked you, do you think Biden could win Pennsylvania, you would have said,
No way. There would have been no way.
do you think Harris can win Pennsylvania?
I think she can. I think the energy she's brought to the campaign, the fact that she's a woman and women's rights are going to be a big deal here in Pennsylvania. And I think that's kind of where Pennsylvania will go.
Berks County is more rural and more Trumpy, just outside the suburban collar. But margins matter everywhere in the battlegrounds. Joan London is an attorney for local governments.
Bloom Farm zoning permit status. We had a meeting this morning, a very productive meeting.
London cast a primary vote for Haley, then switched her registration to independent. She worries about Trump's coarse tone and what she sees as angry populism. A new worry since our last visit in May. Trump running mate J.D. Vance. No cats, but married and childless. Now, even more proud she left the GOP.
I've led a very full life that way, and to say I don't have a stake in the future of the country, I had some difficulty with that, and all I could think of, Senator Vance, are you going to tell Ann Coulter or Condoleezza Rice or Elizabeth Dole that they're miserable cat ladies?
So that's direct response to J.D. Vance's childless cat ladies comments. We're now seeing that it has direct implications to how moderate Republicans, people who are used to be a Trump voter, are responding to the campaign. And again, like, if there is this one person like this, of course, there are going to be thousands more like her. Now, I don't think she is all the way towards Kamala. Let's listen in. But I think we have a lot of work to do, but we can definitely get folks like her onto our side.
London plans to write in a conservative, but she leaves the Harris window open just a crack.
If Donald Trump or J.D. Vance really says something so outrageously offensive, that could drive me to vote for Vice President Harris, but it's highly unlikely.
I guess, I mean, no offense to this woman, what more does Donald Trump need to say to know that you can't, that he's just not a viable option? I don't get that. I mean, I think it's really interesting that white gentleman before her is like, listen, I don't like Kamala's policies, but we can't get Trump back in office. And then you have this woman who's like, Trump and JD would have to say something really crazy for me to vote for Kamala, but I'm not voting for them. It's like, what? I just don't, it just does not compute.
She doesn't represent my values, my beliefs about policy.
Media is in Delaware County. Cynthia Sabatini knows a lot about the change here.
My street was rock-ribbed Republican. Now you have to shake a stick to find a Republican.
Sabatini is also never Trump.
And I watch his campaign rallies. It's all about him. It's not about the country.
She's really astute to point that out. I said that yesterday in our live stream with Elon Musk, that it's just all about him. He spent 40 minutes in that live stream just talking about the assassination attempt, not talking about any policy, not talking about what he could do for the American people. It's just all about grievances. And again, I think this is a huge warning sign for the Trump campaign. And if I'm the Harris campaign, I'm loving this because it is just such a clear sign that voters are sick of this man. They're just sick of him. They don't want someone who only talks about themselves. They want someone that's talking about hope, talking about the future, talking about how we can be better than we were yesterday. That's not Trump. Trump constantly trashes his opponent, voters, half the voters, and the country.
Trump voters hold significant sway. In 2016, Sabatini wrote in a Republican senator. Trump narrowly won Pennsylvania. In 2020, she voted for Biden.
Was that hard?
No, because I didn't want to see Trump elected after the chaos of the prior 4 years.
Sabatini says she's read things that worry her about Harris, about immigration policy, and about being tough on her staff. Probably another write in this November. But the 2016 result still stings.
I'm trying to keep an open mind about Harris. If the rap on her, as I read, is correct.
Bala Kinwood is in Montgomery County.
It was very Republican when I was
anymore.
growing up, and it's Democrat now.
Carol Carty is an attorney, a registered Republican. She's angry that Trump constantly attacks courts and judges and election results.
I'm now turning on 80s songs to go back to the 80s. In my lifetime, the Republican Party has changed with Donald Trump.
Clinton 2016, Biden 2020, a never Trumper, she thought. But inflation and immigration soured her on Biden. And then she watched the June debate.
When Biden was on the ticket, I was going to vote for Trump, but now it's a harder call, just because I am not a fan of Donald Trump.
Nor now of Senator Vance.
I'm not a cat lady. I was a childless dog lady, because I didn't meet the right person until I was over 40 years old. So I could very well be one of those childless women. And I found the comment insensitive and narrow-minded.
This is near Carty's summer home on Maryland's Eastern Shore. She says the conversations back home among her Philly suburban mom friends are crystal clear.
Definitely, I have more friends saying that they're leaning towards Harris.
But she still has reservations and hopes a Harris-Trump debate helps.
Tell me what you did exactly at your last job. And what are your goals for this job if you get the job? And that's what I want to hear from Kamala Harris.
Scoring the campaign just like a job interview. In the suburbs, that usually decide who gets hired.
So what do you all think about that? I think it's really interesting. Now, again, these are just 4 people, right? But these are the people that we need to win over if we're going to win this election. And the fact that 2 of them are teetering on like, maybe Harris, I could be convinced, when these are people who vote Republican. They voted Republican their whole lives. I think the debate is going to be deadly for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is going to seem competent. She is going to project confidence, and she is going to express to the American people a policy proposal that actually makes sense, can be accepted by a wide range of Americans. And Donald Trump is going to look like a buffoon. He probably is going to lash out at her. He might say something insensitive, and he's going to have no real solutions for our country. So if there are tens of thousands of people like this in each swing state, and I guarantee you that this is what we're seeing in the polling, we're going to see more of this, and it's a great day to be Kamala Harris.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?